Ciao a tutti e bentornati sul mio canale. Hello there everyone, welcome to another Italian pronunciation video, this time for the aria Come paride vezzoso from l'Elisir d'amore of Donizetti. We will explore the tips and tricks to help you sing your aria without accent and also discuss the proper open and closed vowels, non-phonetic things such as phrasal, doubling, and assimilation. Before we do that, please direct your attention to the description of this video below. Please head over to my Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com/JohnMario in order to support my work. This is one of the many things I do to make a living. So if you do like these videos and I've saved you time or money in your preparation, please consider becoming a patron at whatever level you feel comfortable today. Also, in the description box below, you will find links to my various websites. Please check them out. My Facebook fan page, give me a like. Also, there is a link to the Pronunciation Dictionary. I love this site. You go there, you can type in any word. There's a playback button, and you can hear the word pronounced back to you by a native Italian speaker. They also have complete lines of text. You'll see non-phonetic Italian in action, such as phrasal doubling and assimilation. If you're new to that, by the end of this video, you should have a very firm grasp of it. Also, I have written out the description in the description of the entire text of the aria so you can follow along. I use my own system of just using the IPA when the words are not phonetic, because Italian is basically a phonetic language. So first, what we will do is we'll read the entire text through, and then I'll go through word by word, and we will explore together a lot of the mistakes I've heard in coachings or in auditions or performance. So we'll go through it that way, each word under a microscope. Okay, so here we go. Here is the full line by line. Come paride vezzoso, pɔrse il pomo, alla più bella, mia diletta villanɛlla, io ti porgo questi fior, ma di lui più glorioso, più di lui felice io sono, poiché in premio del mio dono ne ripɔrto il tuo bel cor. Veggo chiaro in quel visino, ch'io fo breccia nel tuo petto. Non è cosa sorprendente, son galante, son sergente. And if I remember right, it's a son sergente. This text I have is leaving the A out that was in the score. Non va bella che resista alla vista d'un cimiero. Cede a Marte Dio guerriero, fin la madre dell'amor. So there we have the full text. I read it really slowly so you could follow along. And I'm actually exaggerating what's open and what's closed. In speech, they're a lot closer than what I just made them. But for lyric diction, when you're singing, it covers up a lot of things, and things are in slow motion, right? So you'll notice that it's easier to sing when you have something melodic, like such as an aria, a cavatina, as opposed to a recitative. So when you're singing a recitative, the speech rhythms are closer, right? So the differences in lyric diction versus spoken Italian are much not so great, right? Okay, so let's go through it word by word. So first is come. So it has a single M and it has a closed O and a closed E. So if I am to describe closed O in Italian and closed E, they are like the O as in oats in English without a glide. So Italian has a pure vowel. You've heard people talk about pure vowels, right? What makes a vowel pure is that the jaw does not slide. So if I say in English, oats, my jaw will close, and I'll slowly go to an I. And the same with closed E. It's like hey, right? Hey is for horses, right? And hey in English, and if I exaggerate the motion of the jaw, you see it goes to an E and it glides there, right? And so the difference between English and Italian on those two vowels is that the jaw doesn't move and it stays. O, A. So it's the same. Okay, so that's the difference in Italian. So you just do not move, right? So o, e, come, right? So there you are. You have come. Now, if I had an English or an American accent, I would say come, right? And you see the motion of the jaw. It's that simple. Okay, so now we have single M, right? And we have a K to begin, right? So the come is sharp and it is unvoiced, but is very close to the voice. And in fact, a lot closer to the voice consonant in Italian than English. So if I were to say it English with an k like that, there's lots of air. Come. You see, and that is not correct, right? So the Italian one, if you were to start with the G, gome, right? Come, and you can make it very strong, but the K is as close to the voiced one, but is yet unvoiced. Okay, so single M. Let's talk about single M. So I don't allow on single M I don't allow phonation, right? So if you're singing double M, come, you see your vocal cords phonate on the M, right? And in this case, it's wrong. It's a single M, come. So if you go for just a second, it's double M, come. See, incorrect. Come, correct. All right. So that's single M and closed O and closed E, right? The other good thing is when you sing, a lot of times teachers don't allow their students to sing closed vowels, and the reason is they go all in head resonance, like O, A, right? And really, really close down. I'm exaggerating. I know no one actually sings like that. But if you were to think of the stretch of shouting, like, hey, Joe, right? That's how open those closed vowels are for speech, without the pressure of shouting, just the stretch of shouting. Okay, let's go on. The next word is paride. So you have a single R and you have a single D, the eternal consonants, right? So often you'll hear this wrong, paride, with a double D and a rolled R. So the difference between single R and double R is r, right? That's double R, r. Just one tick of the R is single R. Now the reason for this being single R is it's between two vowels. So any intervocalic R is only flipped in Italian. Any R that touches a consonant is rolled, right? So this one does not touch a consonant, paride. The D is also between two vowels and it is single D. How do I do double D? Well, this is another way of doing a double consonant. So double D, you go up to a D and then you don't say it. So if I were to say there were two D's in the word, paride, I would have to stop phonation and then do double D. So in this word, since it's single D, if you happen to stop, you have double D. Paride. See, double D, incorrect, not right. So you want to have the feeling of the vowel continue. Aie, paride. So you don't allow any stoppage. Okay. Now, if you've noticed, when I spoke, and I've also printed it out as a double P. Now, that's because of the word come. Come is one of 6 words in Italian that have 2 syllables that cause a phrasal doubling. Okay, so it's a polysyllable word and it causes a phrasal doubling. Usually it's a 1-syllable word that can be strong in Italian and cause a phrasal doubling, right? In this case, you would say come paride, right? So if I said, how did this happen? However did this happen? Come mai, right? Double M. All right, so the word come usually doubles the next consonant. There are other words like dove, sopra. Those words also double. Okay, so next is vezzoso. So vezzoso, it's all closed vowels again. So it's A, O, O. Now notice in Italian, when there are two of the same vowels, they do not neutralize as they do in English. Right? So O, O, A, O, O, vezzoso. The ZZ is like the Z in pizza. Okay, going on. So now we have our first open O, pɔrse. So it's like AW in English, like I saw without a glide. Saw. So you see, we move our jaws, right? So, and the IPA symbol is the broken circle with the break on the left side. That's for open O. So it's like AW, aw, pɔrse. Now, notice that the E in this word is closed. Notice also that the R rolls. Why? Because it touches an S, it touches a consonant. So, pɔrse. So you roll the R. So the next word, il. So note that an I is a phonetic vowel. It always makes an E sound. It never makes an is sound or anything else. Il. Next word, pomo. Closed O. Pomo. Single M. Not pomo. Right? Pomo. And another way to get your single consonants to flow is to just do the vowels. You do a purity test. O. And practice as if you had a glottal between the two, right? So as if you did O, O, and then just connect. O. So I imagine two O's and then pomo. And now I have the flow. Next, alla. So we have a double L in this word, and we have the vowel A. So printed A in Italian is always A, and no matter what position it is. America. A. You see, always A. So alla, not alla, right? We don't let those drop. So how do we do double L? Well, we get our L on the tip of our tongue, on the roof of our mouth, and we have pitch, we have phonation. Alla. And when you sing, it's actually even more exaggerated than in speech. Alla. Okay, next, più. Now the word più has a semivowel, and I's often make semivowels, and some are semivowels and sound like two consonants, and some are semivowels and they're just almost invisible. So più, right? Now we often confuse this with a Y sound as in English, but if you think about a Y sound in English, it's too low. It's much lower than Italian. So if I think about an American Y, più, I'm down there. An Italian Y is, so if an Italian were to say yellow, there would also be a double L, but the Y would start from the E position, as if you were saying yellow. So the più starts from E, you, più, up there. Okay, so when you're doing that, don't say più down there, but up. The word più is also a strong monosyllable. Okay, so I have a video all on strong monosyllables. It's actually also in Evelina Colorni's book, Singer's Italian. Evelina Colorni was the coach who prepared Robert Shaw's chorale for Toscanini, for the opera performances in the 30s and the 40s. And she wrote a book called Singer's Italian, and it has a list of all the strong monosyllables. I've also done a video on that. So I'm basically just reading Colorni's list with a few of my own added. It's actually easier to memorize the weak monosyllables. And I'm thinking of them. I can never rattle them off by memory, but things like le, li, lo, A lot of pronouns do not double. It's easier to memorize those. I also have that in my video. And in this case, you see it's più bella. So double B, double L. Now, here's another thing. I know I'm bombarding you with information, but the double B in Italian does not stop, as Americans tend to do, right? So Americans tend to make it vulgar by going più bella and stopping, right? A double B in Italian, you can hardly hear it. Più bella, più bella. Just a little bit, just a little. There's a little trippage on the B. Okay, più bella. All right. So open E is like the E in head, like my head, right? Without the glide. Ad, right? You don't want the glide. It just stays. Okay, so bella. All right, next. Mia. So a lot of the pronouns that are possessive have what is sort of a semi-vowel, but not quite, where you give the lion's share of the vowel to the first vowel. Mia, tuo, and also the ones that are subjects like io, right? So those have the one, usually on one note, but you have to actually put a grace note for the second. Mia. All right. So careful also of mia, you don't want you want to fully form the at all times. Next, diletta. So for speech, you can say double T, diletta, right? For singing, you have to go up to the T, not say it, and then say it, right? So do I actually do two T's? I'll do it again slowly. Diletta. So that was slow motion. So what happens? Diletta. I go up to the T. I don't say it. Diletta. If I say two T's, it sounds funny. Diletta. See? And I stop. The other problem that happens, and I hear in singing all the time, is that people will shorten the vowel before the double T. So I get diletta, right? And that's ugly. It's not so beautiful, right? Diletta gives you the power to do the T whenever you want. Now, I understand that sometimes you don't have that much time, but you can go with inside the phrase and in the direction that the phrase is going, diletta, diletta, but not diletta, you see? Too short. Okay, so we also have single L, we've already been through that, versus double L, right? You don't allow the L to phonate, diletta. You can say diletta wrong, right? Okay, going on. Villanɛlla. So alla ending is always open. It's one of the formulas, right? Villanɛlla. And one of these days I'll get around to doing a video about all the formulas, the prefixes and the suffixes that are stressed and are either open or closed. Next, io, right? It's for I. Io. T is a weak monosyllable, so it does not cause a phrasal doubling, right? And a lot of times, I don't know why, people who don't speak Italian love to double after weak monosyllables. They do exactly the opposite of what they need to. So I'll hear io ti porgo with a double P, wrong, right? Io ti porgo. You want to go very smoothly through all of that. Porgo, open O, rolled R, hard G. Right? So G-I-O would be jo. G-O is go. Okay, next. Questi, not questi. So if you look in the description of the text, I underline things as if to say this is really closed, right? And everybody opens these. Questi, I hear all the time. Questi, questi. So these words like quella, quegli, questo, they're all closed. Okay, so the other thing is S when you sing versus S when you speak. So when you speak, you can say questo. When you sing, you have to make sure that the first note you sing is totally que, the second note is sto or sti. questi, not questi. You often hear that in singing, right? And you'll be told you're not singing legato enough. Questo. So you can practice putting all of the A on the first and then the S on the second. Fiore, it's a closed O, and the full word is fiore with an E at the end, right? And this one they cut it off for the poetry, so it rhymes. Fior, right? We tend to open in, especially Americans, tend to open before an R. Fior, no, fior, right? The other thing that happens is the R in English will bleed into the vowel, right? Chair, right? Notice that we can't wait to get to that R. Fior, if I really had an American accent, you see? The R bleeds into it like it's another vowel, right? And this one you want to go fior, separate when you practice. Do your O, R, and then roll your R. Okay? So final R, if it's the end of the sentence, rolls also. Okay? So when R is just left hanging at the end of a sentence, it'll roll. Okay, next word is ma, and that's a strong monosyllable. Notice that, ma di lui. Now I exaggerated it, right? Just a touch when you sing ma di lui. Just a little bit. You can hardly hear it. Just enough to make the pasta al dente, right? You don't want to bite into these too much. So if you're in doubt, listen to Italian opera with totally Italian casts. You'll start to hear these little phrasal doublings. They're like a little spice in your food, right? Just enough in there to make it spicy, but not overwhelming, right? You don't want to exaggerate anything to the point of becoming vulgar. Di is of, in this case, it is a weak monosyllable, okay? As opposed to the old-fashioned way to say day, di with an accent. Now that word will cause a phrasal doubling. Okay, now don't go around saying buon dì to people in modern Italy because you sound like you're speaking Shakespeare or something, right? The word for day now is giorno. Okay, so that's the D and D, right? D with an accent is old for day. Di is the preposition of. So ma di lui, right? A lot of U, very little E, and you need a grace note for the I. Più glorioso, glorioso. See, notice O, E, O, zo. All O, not one open. Okay? And then the same thing, più di lui. See, so più is a strong monosyllable, double D. Lui. Felice, not felice, but felice. So now there's a reason for this. You'll notice that all of the unstressed vowels in Italian, I will present them as closed. You'll see them in the Nico Castell books as open. There's a reason for that. Because at the turn of the century, when Italian singers were coming to the United States and we were learning the lyric Italian diction, we noted that Italians tended to open them for singing, which again means to the point of, hey, Joe. So they started to notate them as open so that you wouldn't close down and sing them. By no means does this mean that this is a and aw, but it's a and o, right? So you'll see them in the Castell books and even in the Colorni books as open, right? But no, don't do it. It's vocal suicide, right? It'll pull you back. So anything that's unstressed is closed, okay? So now that's the good news. Now the bad news is if something's on the stress of a word and it's an E or an O, it can either be open or closed. Okay, now if you were to guess, most likely it'll be open, right? But there are a lot of closed things like musetta. See, it's stressed, it's closed. Okay, so that's the bad news. You have to memorize the closed and open on the stress. The other thing you could do is go to the RAI, DOP, look up the words if you're not sure they're all there. So that's a good way. So we have io sono, felice io sono, right? So let's talk about the word felice. Very often I hear felice, So double L, double C, incorrect, right? Felice. Felice. So io sono. So putting it all together, felice io sono. It's good to do circles, right? So the Italian sentence like circle, right? So poiché. So here's the word poi is usually open, poi, but in this compound word, it becomes closed. So it's poiché. So now we have our first assimilation. The in becomes m. So when you say in prɛmio, see, I did not say n. If I will show you in slow motion, it's in prɛmio. So what happened? I'm going to say prɛmio. My lips come together, right? So what happens is the n assimilates into the p. In prɛmio. Did you see that? It becomes an m, right? So if you get stuck on this M too long, it'll call attention to itself. Italians do this, they don't even know they do it. In prɛmio. See how fast it goes by? And it keeps you in your resonance. It keeps you on a track. In prɛmio. Now, what would happen if I were to put the N in my mouth? I'll show you here. In prɛmio. So what happened? I had to lift my tongue off the roof of my mouth and bring my lips together for the P. And to stay legato, if I were singing, I put a shadow vowel. You see? In prɛmio. Now, there are some people who can say in prɛmio. If you can do that, fine. It's not a problem, right? But the more idiomatic way is to say in prɛmio, right? Where it just assimilates. Now, we have some of those in English, and especially the one that we say like things like in fact, where we don't say the N in our mouth. But we'll come to that later if that happens in the aria later on. So we would say in prɛmio. Notice that the A is open in this word. The R rolls and the M is single. Next, no, that's a computer company. Del, right? D-E-L, del. Mio dono. So closed, single consonants. Okay. Ne ripɔrto. You see, there's no harmonization. It's o. Il tuo bel cor. Cor is a word that almost often does not get pronounced correctly when Americans. It sounds too much cur, and it sounds like cool to an Italian, which means rear end, right? Cor. Make sure you open that, right? And be generous. Okay, let's go on. Veggo. So this is closed E, double G. I do double G the same way I did double T. I go up to the G, I don't say it. Veggo. Chiaro. Same thing, chiaro. That K is like a ga, but it's chiaro, right? And I start from the E position to make this. C-H-I is chi, is hard. The H makes it hard. In quel. So, this N assimilates a different way with the middle of the tongue. So the N is done with the middle of the tongue. Now we do this in English. Here we go. I was talking about this earlier. So if you said the word inkwell, and say it 3 times fast, inkwell, 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 right? You see what happens? You sing it with the middle of the tongue. So that's an assimilation. And in this case, in Italian, it's even more exaggerated. In quel. You see, it's from there. So it's right where you're going to form the QU. Quel, in quel. And the N actually doubles, doesn't it? And it has phonation. Visino. This is one where I hear the N doubled. Visino a lot. Visino. So instead of doubling the N, double the E. Chio, fo. So F-O is open, and it causes a phrasal doubling, right? And it's a double B, so we're going to hardly hear it. For breccia. Double ch. Breccia. Go up to the and don't say it. All right, breccia, right, and close that E. Okay, going on. Nel we've had, tuo we've had, pɛtto. This is a very dangerous word. If you don't double the T, it means fart, right? And in this case, it means breast or heart or soul, right? Pɛtto. Okay, going on. Non è, open E. So the first word, if you know, if you want to memorize open and close, the word for is, single E, is at. The word for and is a. Okay, so closed E for and, open E for is. Both of those cause phrasal doublings, right? Non è cosa sorprendente. All closed. O, a. Sorprendente. All closed. Next, son, S-O-N, galante. Now notice that N's that touch consonants double and they have phonation. So your note that you're singing is through that N. Son galante. So that's a very good phrase or clause for doing N's. Son, and then a son, the word a and doubles the S. A son sergente, right? Okay, so the E in sergente is open. It rhymes with sorprendente. So sometimes in a rhyme, you'll have a closed vowel on a stress rhyming with an open vowel. The next assimilation is an N before a fricative. So N before V or F. So if I say the word for winter, inverno, or the word for hell, inferno, what happens to that N? Did I put the N in my mouth? Watch again. Inverno, inferno. Actually, no, it's right here, like that. So I'm going to say an F, ferno, or I'm going to say a V, verno. And you see it's my bottom lip touching my teeth. Well, how does that what does that have to do with the N? Well, the N will assimilate. Now, we do this in English, as I mentioned before. In fact, right? If you say in fact, you don't say in fact, you say in fact. So that's an N assimilation. And if you notice the IPA symbol is the N with the squiggly line underneath it, right? So in this case, we have N-O-N-V-A. V-H-A, right? Non va bella. Did you see that? Non va bella. And that's the look. I kind of look like Muhammad Ali when I do that, right? When he got ready to fight, right? So the non va bella, it's there. Okay? Now,